Why am I so nervous? Hi guys, so today I am talking about twin flames. If you're not familiar with what twin flames are, the story goes that when our souls were first created, we had a divine masculine and divine feminine energy, and God decided to split those in half so that you could learn to know yourself. The whole purpose of twin flames is really to understand what love is, to learn to love unconditionally. And when you can love yourself, then you can spread love to everyone else. It's like a mirror, you know, you're looking into a mirror. And I guess it can be kind of hard to wrap your brain around that sometimes, but essentially you're looking at the other person and all their faults, all their flaws is part of you. And so you have to look back at yourself and realize that's probably something that you're struggling with, and vice versa. Same with the good things. It's just learning to really love yourself unconditionally. I also am making this video because I see a lot of toxic information out there about twin flames. I won't name names, but there's some channels on YouTube. There's also websites where people are promising that they will help you find your ultimate twin flame if you take their courses and give money and, you know, do the work. But that's just not, hate to break it to you, but that's not how it works. The universe always finds a way to bring you guys together. So my best advice is to not even worry about it. Focus on yourself, bettering yourself, loving, you know, working on yourself. And when the time is right, the universe will bring you that perfect person and you will just know. So I'm kind of making this video just for fun, because it's fun to see, oh, if you have these signs, more of a confirmation of if you are in that relationship. And I will say, my husband and I did not know the term twin flames. I just knew that there was an ultimate soulmate out there for me, like the one. And when we met, it was instant, and I knew and he knew. It's like, this is the one I want to spend forever with. It's just a deep, instant connection, a feeling of knowing right away. So I see a lot of people going from relationship to relationship, especially on YouTube. You know, they're like, oh, is this my twin flame? Oh, is this my twin flame? And it's not really like that. When you know, you just know. And I will say that twin flames are pretty rare. It's not the life path for a lot of people in this life. You know, you might have to just work on yourself first, or, you know, everyone has different paths. And that's not to say that twin flames are any better or anything like that. You can live a perfectly happy, healthy life with a soulmate and really grow spiritually and mentally and have a great love, but it's not that ultimate love of your other half, which is totally okay. And don't beat yourself up about it if you don't feel like you are in that kind of relationship, but you're in a loving relationship and you want to be with them for the rest of your life. That's great. That's really all that matters. Having said that, I want to get into the signs. These are all things that I personally and my husband personally experienced. And this is really just scratching the surface of this whole topic. The first sign is synchronicities. I would love to do a story how my husband and I met, and I'd love to have him on the video. So if you guys really want to see that, give it a thumbs up and I will try to get him on the channel soon. When we first met, some basic synchronicities that happened for us is we have the same last name. So I never had to change my name when I got married. It's always gonna be my last name. We were also right next to each other in the yearbook the year before we met, but we had known of each other, and that's a story for another time of how we met. I would love to put the yearbook photo in, but it's up in the attic, so maybe on another video I can insert a picture of that. So the next one is attraction and magnetism. So when you first see each other, there's this intense energy around it where you're so drawn to them. You can't get your mind off of them, or you just want to keep looking at them. It's like a feeling of of knowing each other. It's a feeling of, wow, I've been here before. I know this person, and I don't know them in this life, but I know them.
This doesn't feel real. She is so beautiful.
Longing to know them more and more. You just feel it, which goes into sign number 3, which is eye contact. The first time that you lock eyes with your twin flame,
I feel like my life just flashed before my eyes.
It sounds very cheesy, but it will be like very powerful, intense. For me, it was very like electric, like when we first locked eyes, it was just like boom, I was frozen still, and it was just like this rush of like, you know, going back to number 2 of I'm so attracted to this person and I feel like I know them, like I need to get to know them even more. And same with first touch. First time we actually touched, he asked me for a hug. When we hugged, it was so electric. It sounds really silly, but it's totally true. Like, wow, I don't even want to let you go. I actually got in my car. I was taking my friend home. We were in high school. I said, this is gonna sound really weird, but I just had the best hug of my life. And it was just a hug. And then she's like, what? She didn't understand. And I said, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it was the best hug I've ever had. It felt like home. It just felt so comfortable. Like our souls were like, oh, you know, I missed you so much. So that is sign number 3. Moving on to number 4, having the same core values when you get to know each other. For us, it was family and like what we wanted to do with our lives. You know, both wanted to get married, have a family. We both had the same, I guess, political views, you could say, like very loosely, because we're not political at all. But we were raised really very similarly. So yeah, it could be as simple as like saying, oh yeah, you know, I love to travel and I've been here, and the person would be like, oh, I've been there too and I love to travel, which sounds kind of vague. But it's just like you connect on pretty much every level. Sign number 5, having similar features or mannerisms. So people say that you look very, very similar to your twin flame. It's not true for everyone. You could come from totally different cultures, different races, but you're still going to have some of those core things where you're very similar in how you look and approach life, how you react to things. But this is a silly little thing that I noticed. Everyone in my family, every time we take pictures, like family photos, everyone always smiles with their teeth, and I never do that. It's very rare. Unless it's like a candid shot, you're not going to catch me smiling with my teeth. And my husband is the exact same way. We're the only ones in every family photo, and I have a big family. We're always just like, we just don't smile with our teeth. That's really funny. And we get it a lot. People in our family, even strangers, will tell us that we look very similar. One time we were on vacation and there was an older couple, and we were both getting out of the elevator, and they stopped us. They were like, whoa, oh my gosh, you guys look exactly the same. And they're like, you're so cute. And so it's just really funny how that works, because obviously your soul imprint is going to be very similar. You're going to have a lot of those same traits that the other person has. Moving on to sign number 6. Sorry if I'm looking down, I have all my notes here so that I don't forget anything. Sign number 6 is feeling complete, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and sexually. So no one will ever compare to a twin flame once you're with them and have that relationship and know what it feels like. There's just no going back. You feel totally complete at home. Essentially, you only want each other. You don't long for anyone else. You're not like, oh, I wonder if I go be with someone else, is it gonna be better? It's like, no, you just know that there's no comparison. You don't want anyone else. That is especially true in the sexual side of things. You don't long to have anyone else. You guys are perfect for each other. You never get bored of each other, is what I should say. Not to say never, but it's very hard to get bored of each other because you're so naturally attracted to that person. That's just my 2 cents. And then that goes into the next sign, sign number 7, feeling completely comfortable with one another. So when we started dating, we were both young, and I was nervous because I was like, oh man, like, you know, this is it. I don't want to lose him because this is the one, you know? So I was a little bit nervous, but I also, within, I'd say the first 2 weeks, because I'm such a girly girl, and I always wanted to like look my best on dates, and I would never go to school without makeup or doing my hair. And within 2 weeks of dating, I just started going over there in my sweatpants and like no makeup, my hair put back in like a ponytail. I just really enjoyed his company. I just felt so comfortable, and he was the same way. I mean, he started farting around me around the same time. He's like, sorry, this is just what happens. And I was like, I know. So it's just things like that where you just get really comfortable very, very quickly. Guys, so I am sitting here editing this and I realized I forgot sign number 8. So I'll just touch on this briefly. Sign number 8 is being the opposite but also the same as your counterpart, as your other half. A couple examples would be, I'm really good at doing the planning. If we go on vacation or just planning a party for, you know, the family, a birthday party or something, I do the bulk of the planning, but my husband is really great at the details. He'll be like, oh, you got to do this, you forgot to, you know, like he will be on me about not on me, but he helps me clarify things because I will definitely forget. I can do the big picture a lot of times, but he's into the little minute details. And also another thing would be, he is not really into big crowds. I mean, who really is? But he can be a lot more reserved and quiet. He's a Taurus. He'll sit there and listen to people, and when he has something good to say, like, you know, he can be a talker and tell you all about it. But he's more reserved in social situations, where I am a Gemini and I find myself just like talking and being not the life of the party, but just being very vibrant. And so we balance each other out that way. So those are just a couple examples of being the opposite but the same, and understanding where the other person comes from. It's like you make a whole complete little heart. You're the half, he's, and then the other half. I'm holding my camera so I can't do it, but it's like you're the half of the heart and then the other person is the other half, and then together you guys make the whole piece and you just really work well together. Not always, there can be little bumps in the road, but usually you complement each other in the best ways. Back to the regular video. Sign number 9 is a fun one. It's telepathy. From the very beginning, we were always calling each other at the same time, texting each other at the same time. And back then, like, I don't know what would happen, but I swear like the wires would get crossed and we'd be sitting there waiting for a text. I'm like, why isn't he texting back? And it's because then like 2 hours would go by and we'd both get the message and we're like, yeah, we sent this 2 hours ago, and we were both saying the same thing. It was like we were thinking about each other at the exact same time, texting each other at the same time, and it would just like block the cell service or something. It was really weird and it was very frustrating. This happens on a daily basis for us, where we could both be watching a show and then we say, I'm thinking something and then he says it a second later. I'm like, oh, I was just gonna say that, or vice versa. And it could be like the most obscure things. And we're like, yeah, I was thinking that too. So a couple little stories that are kind of funny that happened semi-recently. My husband was out of town for work and I was gonna put my crystals out for the full moon. And anyway, so I did that and I looked out the window, and we have a little doorbell camera, and I noticed that there was a green frog sitting on the front porch, chilling there for like quite a while. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I don't know, I think like things like that are so cool. And so I took a picture of it and I typed up this whole thing, this whole text to my husband about this frog. And I sat there and I'm like, he's not gonna care about this frog. Like, why am I wasting my time texting this huge paragraph about a freaking frog? So I deleted it. I didn't even send it to him. So he calls me maybe like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes later. One of the first things he says is, I looked on the doorbell camera and look, there's a frog out there. And I was like, I know, I saw that, and I was actually gonna text you. I typed up a whole thing and I was gonna text you a photo and tell you about it. And he's like, no way, I did the same thing. He literally typed up a whole text and then he sat there and thought the same thing I did and deleted it, and we didn't even send it to each other. And so we just laughed about that. It was really, really funny. Also, a few weeks ago, oh, this frog, okay. A few weeks ago, it was a Sunday, a lazy Sunday, just chilling in bed watching movies. And he's like, what do you want for dinner? Because we were gonna order something for dinner. And I'm like, I don't know. And so we thought about it. And for some reason, I thought of Jimmy John's. And let me tell you, I do not like sandwich, like especially cold sandwiches. I don't go to Subway. I don't go to Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, none of that. That's like the last thing on my list that I ever want to go to. But for some reason, I was like, you know what? Like, that kind of sounds good right now. But I didn't say anything because I was like, well, let's see, I'm gonna let him choose. So about an hour later, he's like, how about Jimmy John's? And he knows I've never eaten there. We've never ordered from there at all. Like, he'll do that on his own, like when he's at work or something. It was weird that he even proposed that to me because he knows I don't like sandwiches. I was like, yeah, that's so weird. I was actually thinking about that. And I just thought it was weird because yeah, this is never something we've ever ordered. It was pretty bizarre. Needless to say, the sandwich was kind of gross. The bread was kind of stale. So yeah, no more. So number 10 is being selfless. A couple examples of this would be really understanding the other person is struggling and just loving them through it, like no matter what. Even if it's like painful for them or doing something they don't want to do, they do it because they love you. Little side note story, it's the day before my husband's birthday and we got into kind of a little bit of an argument. So then the next day is his birthday. He had known that I wanted to get a MacBook so that I could edit my videos better. On his birthday, he went on Best Buy and he bought me a very expensive MacBook. That was very selfless of him because, you know, we hadn't been getting along very well, you know, the last couple days before that. It was his birthday and he still decided to, he's like, yeah, you know, I know you really want this and it can be beneficial for you. So he went ahead and bought me that. That was just a very nice, selfless thing for him to do. And he does things like that all the time. Number 11 is one of the most important, growing spiritually together. Essentially, like I said, you guys are both mirrors and so you can trigger each other. Pretty much like the phrase, when you point the finger at someone else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. That is really the truth. If you're talking to that other person and you're like, oh, why don't you do this? Or why did you do this? You have to look at yourself. And so it can bring up a lot of triggers and a lot of things. And you have to go deep inside and really try to heal those things, because when you heal yourself, you're healing your partner and you're healing your relationship. Going deep and saying, why do I act the way I act? And it could be from past lives, things that you don't even realize. So when you dig deep, you can really heal those things. And everything you go through together. You're constantly growing closer and closer together to become, you know, fully one again and totally understand each other completely, because then you're understanding yourself. We've gone through many different spiritual paths, and but we're always on the same page. And it might take a little bit longer for one of us to catch on. Like, we rub each other the wrong way sometimes, but it always comes back together. So yeah, essentially you're just on this track to really find the ultimate truth of life. Never fully understand it, but that is essentially what you do as a twin flame. And even as just a person, you know, you're on the path to find what is true and what is not true in this life. So yeah, growing spiritually together is a huge one. And if you're not growing together, then you're growing apart, and that's probably not a twin flame relationship. And the last one, I guess it's not really, it's just a little bonus sign. It's really, really hard to stay mad at each other for, I'd say, more than a day. Sometimes even quicker than that. It's just so hard to stay mad. It physically hurts me, and it just tears me apart. Even though I could be so mad and stubborn about something, it hurts too much to be mad. It's like we can't go to bed mad. It's very, very, very rare that we go to bed mad. I think we've only done that maybe like twice. I don't know. It's very, very hard. Something's like stabbing in between you and you're like, oh, I just want to get this thorn out, you know, I just want to fix this. And I'll be the first to admit, I can be very stubborn, and so can my husband, but he is a lot better about coming and apologizing or trying to make things right. So I've learned that I do have to, you know, be the one sometimes to, because he can't always be the one like, oh, come on, let's make up, let's not fight about this, you know, this is stupid. So I've gotten a lot better at that, and I'm still working on it, because I'm always like, well, he better come to me first because I'm not doing this. But so yeah, that's just a little bonus sign. Again, I'll reiterate, just because you don't have your twin flame in your life doesn't mean you're not complete, doesn't mean that you're not important. It is just a certain life path for certain people. And I will say, if you are seeing this video and this kind of thing interests you, there is a high chance that you do have a twin flame and that you will meet them, but just don't focus your whole life on it. Don't even worry about it. Just live your life and it will happen for you when the time is right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun for me. And let me know, do you have any of these signs? I'd love to hear from you guys. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye.